welcome to Redvee TV. Pre-Catalans at home, coming on the back of another fantastic victory last week.
Yeah, great performance as well, especially after being down to 12 men for so long. Yeah, we were just completely professional, clinical, absolutely everything that you want to see. We didn't kind of go into our shells, we still threw it about. Fantastic.
One of the best away performances in recent times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you add everything in, as I say. We have a man sent off and we don't kind of shrink and just kind of hope to get by without scoring a try or two in the second half and hope to keep them out. We do it by attack being the best form of defence.
It actually looked at times like Salford had the man down, wasn't it? This week, James Roby and Adam Swift rejoined the squad at the expense of Matty Lees and Costello.
Yeah. What
changes would you make to the side?
I think Holbrook, we're looking at Barber as well being 100% fit and Roby are 100% fit. I think he'll throw him in. I think the only change you'll probably see is Roby coming in if Barber's fit.
Now, I was looking at the wing position. Adam Swift, I thought when he got his place and his chance this season, he did really well. Yep. I thought he was fantastic. And I think I probably said about 3 or 4 weeks ago that when all three, Grace, Swift and Makinson, are fit, I would go with Adam Swift and Tommy Makinson as my wingers. But I think Regan Grace has probably stepped it up in recent weeks, last couple of weeks, and probably deserves to retain his place, which is harsh on Adam Swift. But I think Justin Holbrook shown earlier in the season that when Ryan Morgan got injured, that it's not an automatic that you get your place back in this side if somebody's playing well.
I think it was already Grace's shirt. I don't think it's necessarily that he'd have stepped straight in anyway. Holbrook doesn't tend to do that. He doesn't tend to just drop players for the sake of it. So I think Swift, while he'd have been in the 19, probably still found himself out of the squad, even out of the 17, even if Grace wasn't playing as well as he is. I think the only possibility is Swift could come back in if he rests Barber. Potentially. I mean, it depends whether he wants to put Makinson at fullback. Yeah, and just do that move rather than say moving halves about and putting Lomax in at one, because I think Lomax had his best game I'm not saying he's not played well, but for a while he's had one of his best games on Thursday night against Salford.
Is there a risk this week that fans could potentially be overlooking Catalan? I know we've had 2 fantastic fixtures over the last couple of weeks where we've put 60 on the board. Catalans have been pretty atrocious all season, but coming off the back of a win for them at home to Hull last week, Josh Drinkwater coming into the side, and he'll have had another week with his teammates. Is it a potential banana skin? Considering I think we've lost to Catalan before at home. Have we got anything to be worried about?
I think Holbrook's actually been quoted in the press as saying along the lines that it doesn't matter where Catalan are in the league, they're a tough proposition. So hopefully the playing side of it will look after itself and we won't go into it with one of those attitudes.
You'd like to hope that the Wakefield fixture the other week was probably the wake-up call that we needed?
Absolutely, and we may well have one of them again during the season, and it comes to it that we need another kick up the backside.
Just preferably not in a cup game.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, fans could be taking it for granted. I know that me and you have said that we expect Saints to still put a decent score on them. Maybe it might not be 50 or 60 or whatever, but I'd still imagine us. We've got to go out there and be comfortable winners, haven't we?
Yeah. I think for me, when I look at like the handicaps these days, it's not necessarily thinking that Saints might score a ton. It's how good the defence is in limiting the opposition at the other end. How good is it this week to see the squad and see the squad numbers? And it's pretty much 1 to 17, bar Alex Walmsley, number 8, out injured, and obviously Ben Barber takes 23, close. Should be number 1. How good is it to see how strong the squad is now, fit? We've managed to keep people.
Yeah, it's good because over the past couple of years we've obviously been moaned having players out with injury all the time.
I've seen lottery numbers in the team.
Yeah, seen quite high squad numbers. I mean, you think back to when we had Stu Howarth and Adam Quinlan and people like that wearing number 37 on the back of the shirt and what have you. So it's
see those days of
well, hopefully so. An injury crisis is probably never too far away. We've been very fortunate.
Touch wood.
We've been very fortunate, and hopefully we can continue that for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think we escaped one last week. Everybody had the hearts in their mouths when we seen the injury to Barber, and it's like all of a sudden you potentially look at the season unravelling. But I think this Saints side, Barber or not, is probably made of stronger stuff.
Yeah, obviously you miss a lot when Barber's not playing, but we usually slot in, or we have done in the past, slotted in an England international at fullback, which most teams just can't do. And we'll put Lomax there, and we don't really miss stuff because we'll put the French international captain into the halves. So it's good to see that we have got them options. If Barber was rested or injured, that we can do that. But obviously you do miss a lot when Barber isn't in the side.
Women's team this week, fantastic result last week against Featherstone to make it 3 out of 3, remain top of the league just like the men's team. No fixture this weekend, chance to rest the legs up and get ready for a big derby next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Went down to Thato Heath on Sunday. They started slowly, to be honest. First half it was 10-all at half time, I think it was. So they started slowly, and the coach Mark Brennan, when he spoke to us after the game, he said as such. But they kind of got into the stride in the second half and
blew them away.
Powered them away. Yeah, absolutely. You could see the influence that Faye Gaskin started having on the game. And once she started having more of an effect on the game, the likes of Roxy Mora stepped up, Chantel Crowell, and the likes, and the fullback, Rebecca Rotherham, I think it is, the fullback. I tell you what, there's little bits of her play that you just think she could be something special. I mean, she really looks like a good player.
I think I commented after the Bradford game the other week, the way she gets through that line, and if she's got somebody on the back of her to play off her, then it'll create plenty of tries going forward.
And it's one of them that she's like quite a slight player, but she's not bothered about taking the ball in. And that's great to see. It's great to see from any player. Like you see Regan Grace does it for the men's team, where he's not the biggest lad, but he'll still take in first or second tackle. He's not going to make the meters, but I like that. I like the attitude that they've got in the ladies' team.
Certainly welcome by the forwards when they want a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other news this week, obviously, Zach Hardacre got his ban. He got 14 months, dated from the 8th of September, apparently.
Yep.
Only when he scored in the semi-final 20 days later after that ban. Why didn't he just announce it as a 13-month ban starting after the grand final? And it still would have finished in November. It just seems...
you know what? I've
is it a mistake?
I've not read it. I'd imagine so. I'd imagine it's an administrative error. I've not read anything about Zach Hardacre's ban. I'm not probably in the best position to speak about why it is. I know there's mitigating circumstances.
You know what? He's done it. He's got a ban.
Yeah.
He'll be in a Wigan shirt next season. We can just all boo him.
You just get on with life. I mean, we can hardly when it comes to taking on fullbacks who've
got past problems.
Problems.
Yeah, do you know what? And do you know what happens, doesn't it? But it just shows how potentially tides could maybe change a little bit next season if Ben Barber was to return to the NRL. Zach Hardacre would be a big upgrade for that Wigan side. You'd only have to look how Castleford have missed him this season. And we'll probably talk about it maybe a bit more next week on the Castleford preview show. But it's important that we've got a succession plan. Whether if Barber's here next season, brilliant. If he's not, then a plan to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd hope the likes of Costello and Kev Brown and people like that who are in the academy
will get the chance.
Are literally taking everything they can. There's an interview on the
Super League website.
Holbrook and Barber. Yeah, and Barber says that he's the link between the older players and the younger lads as well. They also have a go at Mark Percival, and he's
the Prince.
The Prince. Well,
the Fresh Prince of Witness.
They say he's 23 in age, but 16 up here. But yeah, Barber said that he's the link between. So hopefully these young lads are taking everything in that he says, and exactly, and seeing what he does, both on and off the field. Because obviously, while he's at the club, he's seemingly been a great influence on people, and he's playing with a smile on his face. And I know he says in that interview that he's a bit of a moaner, but apparently that's as well, when it was snowing, he was like what are you lads whinging about? It's only a bit of snow.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of debate. If people look through the Redvee tweets last night, we could potentially be looking at the end of the season whether Barber is our best ever import. It's suffice to say that's the influence he's had on the squad. Obviously Jamie Lyon, Mal Meninga's in the mix. I'm not old enough to have seen Mal play in the flesh. But obviously Jamie Lyon, comparisons with Jamie Lyon came into a fantastic Saints side and had world-class players all around him. The players Ben Barber's playing with are very good players, some of them, but maybe not world-class. Fair to say.
Yeah, there's arguments for both. That both are our best imports, and then, to be honest, people of a better vintage than me and you will then argue Mal Meninga is. But if it's Lyon and Barber, yeah, you can argue that Lyon's gone into an absolutely fantastic team with the likes of Cunningham, Long.
See, I'd argue that Jamie Lyon for a lot of the time had Darren Albert on the outside of him to finish things off as well, and so we had that threat with him.
But also Lyon slotted into 6, so he didn't just play 3, he played 6 as well, and kind of showed a bit of a...
I just think maybe the way the game has gone, the way the full-back position's gone in general, the way it contributes to your attacking line, that maybe that's why we see maybe a little bit more of Ben Barber, and he seems to be instrumental to absolutely everything we do, where you knew you had Jamie Lyon on the right, but you also had your Sean Long, your Sculthorpes,
Tommy Barton,
so you had constant others to chime in. But yeah, it's a debate that will go on probably all season, and maybe we'll sit back after the end of the season, hopefully with a couple of trophies on the sideboard, and be able to discuss the merits of both in depth.
Well, that's it. And as you say, people were discussing Holbrook and Anderson and everything like that, and we'll argue again, Anderson won everything, Holbrook might not win everything,
but the style's better.
But not only that, has Holbrook kind of done more for the club off the field as well as...
And that sounds awful, not awful, but that's not denigrating Daniel Anderson's achievements, because he was, for me, prior to Justin Holbrook, is everything you wanted in a Saints coach, but Justin Holbrook seems to have maybe just taken that on a little bit of a step so far.
Probably
just needs the trophies on the sideboard to go with it.
Well, exactly, because what he's done for the club is phenomenal. But to be honest, you're not judged by how well you connect with the town. You're judged by how many pots you've got.
And equally, do you know what? I've always said we can play the most boring rugby ever.
Win 1-0 and...
But I'd rather win a trophy. At the end of the day, if it comes to the more ruthless, just win style of Daniel Anderson against a free-flowing game that doesn't win anything, you take the Daniel Anderson. So hopefully Justin can back it up with the trophies. Just to finish, prediction for Friday night then?
Saints by a lot. Probably about, 32, 34, 36, 40 actually. I'll go for Saints by 40. After saying that it could be a potential banana skin.
I think it's a potential banana skin. I'm going to Saints by 52.
Right, okay. Completely blowing out what we said about 10 minutes ago then.
Argue with yourself, it's that little voice in your head that allows you to do it. Right, we will see you Thursday night, tomorrow night, tonight, depending on when you're watching, for the instant fan reaction, Redvee TV. Hopefully we're not looking stupid, as we normally do. Like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you, like I just said, on Thursday night.
Brilliant. Great.
See you later.